The people in the chat, the friends of the chat, the friends of the show. You are right. We made it 1 week. Oh my gosh. It's a Wednesday, which means you're about to see Big Sister Jaco again, which, truth be told, the way I've described her, I never call her my big sister. She is physically 3 inches shorter than me. It's just, she's my sister. And then people always ask, is she older? Is she younger? Yeah, so here's the Jaco. I don't have big sister energy. Really? You think so?
You absolutely have big sister energy.
Oh my gosh. Well, thanks. I guess that's a compliment. See, all I know you as is having big sister. It's just sister energy, and I guess it's the only sister that I know. So that's how we treat that. How are you today, Jaco?
I have had an extremely dramatic day.
Okay. Well, let's just
I'm okay, but it's been
a day. You made it to no breaks,
palm
though.
Sweater. I have. I'm here.
A palm sweater?
It's been a palm sweater.
Okay, well,
it really
listen,
has been.
We have to tell the people.
We made it.
We have to tell the people that normally when we first would get on the phone, which we did about 30 minutes ago, it would be immediately like you have the talking orange, like you and go and tell the story. But you are already a television professional. And you were like, I'm going to save it for no break. So I was like, all right, here we go. So do tell. Go ahead. You have the talking orange.
I have the talking orange. Okay. So yes, so this morning I worked yesterday. So today was my kind of, regroup day. Got my son to school, was kind of puttering on here doing, lunch box for my daughter. She was, hanging out, and we were getting ready to go, and this was about 9:45. We do like a slow roll, and I mean, her preschool knows we do a slow roll always, but we do a slow roll because we can. And I said to myself, okay, I'm gonna go, get my gym done before no breaks. Like, got my stuff, trying to get my stuff together, and so the phone rings, and it's like an area code, like a city area code. So I answered.
Where you live.
And where I live, yeah. So, and I always do that because it's like, could be the school or whatever, so I generally answer the city area code numbers. And it was somebody calling me on behalf of the Board of Nursing and the Division of Occupation.
In the city in which you live in.
Yes, and the Division of Occupational and Professional Licenses. And he said this whole thing that I'm calling from the Board of Nursing in the Division of Occupational Licenses. Do you have a couple minutes to talk? And I said, yes. And he said, I'm calling on behalf of a Federal Bureau investigation, and in regards to your license number that was used in regards to some drug activity. And I just stopped cold. And normally my daughter was kind of around, and I immediately was like,
was any other grown up home? Was your
no, it was just me and her. No, I was.
So you can't be
her.
Immediately somebody take this child.
So I was just who I said that to? I said, Bluey, please immediately take my child.
Yes.
And she was just thrilled, and she was like, take your time on the phone. And I'm just kind of pacing around the first floor, and he's going on about how my license number was used to on an incredibly large amount of Schedule 2 and Schedule 3 narcotics that were found in the trunk of a car at the Texas-Mexico border. And he said that, and my name and my driver's license was used to rent a car from Enterprise 3 weeks ago. He said this investigation started 3 weeks ago, and your name, your driver's license, and your license number was used to get these and he listed off all these Schedule 2 and Schedule 3 narcotics. Fentanyl.
What is Schedule 2? What is Schedule 2?
Oh, so oxycodone, fentanyl,
so are those methadone, levels of intensities?
Yeah, so exactly. So Schedule 2 is all of the hard drug narcotics that I do prescribe for post-surgical pain, oxycodone, but it's the drugs now that are the street drugs that are getting smuggled in. So then Schedule 1 narcotics are like the anesthetics, like
In
what
just
Michael
OR,
Jackson,
like in the
it's like
surgery.
what Michael Jackson's doctor gave him.
Okay, okay,
But
okay,
like
okay.
Schedule 2 and higher, Schedule 2 and 2, 3, 4, 5 are like all the controlled substances that are like various degrees of addiction, I think is how they like,
I see. Okay.
so he said this rental car that was made out in my name with a trunk full of narcotics and all these different pounds and kilograms, like at this border. And he said, do you know anything about this? And I like went upstairs and I was like, I no, I have know nothing about this. And he's like, does any of your friends or family or anyone you work with have something against you? Do you have any enemies at at work? And I was like, I have know nothing about this. I know nothing about this. Like,
Were you also a little bit like, I don't know if I should say anything? Like, do I need to have like a lawyer on the phone? Did any
exactly, totally, yes. And so and he said, I would encourage you to go to a private place where no one can hear this conversation because, like, you don't know who, and I would encourage you not to talk to anyone about this because you don't know if somebody's using your information, like, to
Okay,
like,
just a reminder, we are on a live show right now.
I know, but don't worry. Yeah, like, don't.
This isn't
Oh,
Oh no, this is Sister FaceTime. No. Throw the talking orange.
take it.
Put the talking orange back on the bowl.
Yes, I'm gonna take it right now. Don't talk to anyone about this. Like, don't talk to your friends, your family, people you work with, because they could destroy the evidence if they're using your stuff. And my palms are just sweating. And he's like, and I said, and as he's talking to me, and I'm like starting to have like a real like fight or
Yeah.
flight, like
Yes.
reaction, I was like looking up the phone number that called, and I put it in my Google search bar.
Stop it.
And it was the Idaho Board of Nursing's phone number.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a scam story?
So it was the
Okay, this is
Idaho Board
real.
of Nursing's phone number. And I was like, oh my God. And so it's like, give me your name. He gave me all these reference numbers. I'm like writing them down in my journal upstairs. And I said, and I was really trying to keep it together and like trying to think. And I said, okay, I need to take your phone number down. I need to call you back because I need to collect myself, and I'm going to call you back, and I want you to tell me everything you just told me exactly.
Because were you going to like conference somebody in?
Well, because he was like, yeah, you can call me back. And I like immediately, and I paused and I was like, should I not call somebody? Because he said, don't call anybody. And then I was like, no, I need to call. I was like, I need to call
Totally.
my in-laws, my trusted in-laws are attorneys. And I called my father-in-law and I said, this is happening. He told me not to call anyone, but I'm freaking out. No, I literally said, I'm freaking out. Can you talk right now? Because I'm freaking out.
To your father-in-law.
Well, I called into my father-in-law who, yes.
Okay. Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man, exactly. We'll get to that later. But so anyway, he like kind of talked me through. He's like, okay, this is sounding a little fishy. Like, why is this Board of Nursing just calling you? Like, why is this not like a federal federal? And I was like, but he said he gave me his license, his number. He gave me all these things. And
okay.
But he also said, like, he's like, have you heard anything from work? And I said, no. And I was like, okay, call your clinic manager. And I was like, but why did he tell me not to call anybody? And he was like, I'm feeling like this might be a little suspicious. And so I called my clinic manager. So this is like, and I said to my father-in-law, but I told him I'd call right back. Like, am I looking suspicious? And he was like, no, he's playing on your anxiety right now. But I was
Did
like,
he
what about the
ask you
phone
for
number?
anything else, like upon leaving the conversation, this person? Like, say,
no,
was like,
basically
chill,
he was just saying, don't talk to anybody about it.
Okay.
And I and I was able to like get off the phone and like collect myself. Because I remember the thing about like scams too. It's like you should be able to call the person back, yeah. So, but it was all this language that was so jarringly official.
Yeah.
So I called my clinic manager because my father-in-law said, if there's something going on, don't you think your hospital would be cutting you off like before? I'm like, well, how am I supposed to know? I was like,
Good point.
so I called my manager and he was like, I haven't heard a thing. I was like, I'm have you heard anything about my like license, my prescribe, like anything? And then my father-in-law did some investigating on my behalf. And he was like, this is most certainly a scam. And so then I'm like, the clock's ticking, Bluey's been babysitting the child for like 45 minutes. And like, I was like, you know what? I need to get my act together here. Like, I'm not gonna like, I'm not
Right,
in
like if they're
trouble.
gonna
Like,
come for you, A, you did
yes,
nothing wrong.
yes,
B, if they're
yes,
gonna come for you, they'll come knock down the door. And C,
yes,
yeah, like you
yes.
just need to
So I
move
was
on
like,
this
I'm not gonna like
nice.
let this complete reaction that I've had, this complete, catecholamine response take over my day. I was like, I'm getting my stuff together. I'm going to the gym because, and so
Yes.
I got her to school. I'm getting on the way, like, and I called the board of nursing as I'm driving there. And I wasn't able to get through. And my father-in-law was just like, just go to the gym. It's fine. And I like run in there and I didn't have my shoes. I like went dressed
understood.
and I was like, it's like 5 minutes after. So I was like, can I work out in my Birkenstocks? And she's like, we have a closed toe policy. And I was like,
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I'm getting scammed. And she's like, I won't charge you the late fee. And I was like, thanks.
So you went home.
So then I went next door to get my smoothie. And yeah, and my after workout smoothie, but and then I did
your heart rate and your blood pressure probably went through a workout simulation.
Yes. And I like finally I got back on the phone with the board nursing for 15 minutes. It took me to get through to them. And I said, I've just had this phone call. Can you confirm that this person like works at the board of nursing? Because like they gave me all these reference numbers for an investigation. And then she cut me off and she said, did she say that there are narcotics in a rental car in your name? And I said, yes. And she said, yes, this is a known scam. I just got off the phone with the pharmacist who had this exact same phone call. And I said, but why do they have your phone number listed? Because when I looked up this phone number in the moment,
where it came from,
it's the board of nursing's phone number. So the scammers are using the thing to like mimic that it is the board of nursing.
They can like get into the telephone lines and act like it's.
Or I don't know. Or like I can call like patients from my phone, but I use an app that shows the clinic number when it shows up on their phone. Yeah. So like I can make a phone call on my cell phone, but it looks like it's coming from my clinic line. So they don't have my cell phone number. So it's like a way to protect. So it's like they have, but
oh my gosh.
I'm writing down, literally wrote down this man's name. I wrote down his badge number, this reference number. I'm thinking to myself, I literally had this thought to myself, which was everything I've worked for is about to go like out the window. Or
and it's one of those hot button topic events right now in the current state of the universe that like even if you had nothing to do with it, you would be most likely in some way, shape, or form held accountable for it because of the weight of narcotics right now and opioids and everything.
Right. Or even if you were 100% innocent of just a collateral damage of some scam, you're still going through the emotional upheaval of like, look what just happened. I just like lost my brain for 4 hours over this. Like I didn't like. I'm driving my daughter.
I was wondering, like, if he had asked you for any information before getting off the phone, like, call me back, but quick, can you just confirm your driver's license number for me, or something like that? I thought maybe just to take advantage of it. That's why I'm surprised in like the ultimate scammer world that he would let you off the phone and not try to keep playing on what you were in.
Yeah, I think maybe it was like they know like once you're like I need a minute, or like they've kind of lost you. Like if the person's like trying to scam is like I'm gonna take advantage of this person, but if they break off connection, then like it's kind of over. They move on to the next
phone number.
Yes. I just cannot tell you. And then the other thing that was freaky that I looked up was that I looked up this guy's name that he gave me, and this person is actually like a true person, but he's like a deceased DEA agent.
Oh.
I know. Because I just looked up like DEA and then the name he gave me, and it did, but this person's like obituary came up and he was like a DEA agent. I know. Isn't this it was yeah. And so I've been thinking about how my brain has just been like hostage for the past 4 hours for
really
no reason. Yes. And how when we get news like this or you get rattled with emotion, like my cognitive power just like went completely out the window. And then I'm thinking about like when I tell my kids this story tonight, like how I can use it as a teaching moment for them. Like I was so scared, but when somebody tells me don't talk to anyone about this, this is, going to put you in danger if you do, that's an immediate flag. So it was.
Or like there is no life event or situation that can happen to you that you shouldn't ever include someone else in. Like you should never be in something that's making you feel stressed or scared or powerless that you shouldn't seek help out from a mom or dad, or you always kind of want to make sure like a trusted adult. But essentially if someone were to go to the school and be like, hey buddy, come with me, mom said, you should be like, let me go check with my teacher. Always feel like it's okay to include another, which you did as a grown woman. You went to your father-in-law and like just including that next person immediately.
Right. And like if somebody's investigating you, if they have integrity that's unquestionable, then they will say, yes, rally your people around you. Like, totally. But it was immediate. Like, do you have any enemies at work? Do you have anyone that has holding anything against you? And in that, oh my gosh, my palms are sweating right now telling you about it.
Just hearing it.
I know, because I'm just thinking about like my license, everything I've worked for, my integrity, my like, yes.
This on the same avenue.
Okay, so I'll take it. You can have it back.
Okay.
But
I was going to say, are you good? Are you ready to pass talking about that?
Yes.
That was an incredible story. Wow, I'm so sorry that happened.
Beware of scammers.
Totally. But you know what I find really interesting about it is that I think scammers try to seek out kind of like the avenue in which someone would be interested in, like how it's important in their world. So yours would be this. Mine, I believe that I got scammed recently in not as an intense way, but almost in a positive way. So I got an email, maybe by now, probably 2 months ago, the initial email. And I'm just going to use the real names because I actually reached out to the public figure and sent him a message and was like, not for nothing, I think somebody's trying to book interviews for you on your behalf. So, do you remember the guy from MTV, from Jackass, Steve-O? Know that name? He does Yep. So I get an email from somebody that's like, hey, I'm so-and-so. I think he claimed to be like a producer on behalf of Steve-O. And he does his actual show title, I think now it's called Wild Ride with Steve-O. And like Steve-O's on YouTube, like doing interviews with like pretty prominent people. And like he's a significant media figure, I would say, in the last like 30 years. And this producer claimed that Steve-O books, and this makes sense, I've heard this too, books bulk, like he does like 30 interviews in 15 days, and then they just spit out the interviews. And so then you take the rest of it.
Like a press day.
So he's like, do you want to pick a day? Like he'd love to have you on, tell your story, all this stuff, we'll pay you. And which is common too. So at first I was like, me? Like I don't really kind of fall in the like
you get the right Jamie Erdahl.
Yeah, like I appreciate the opportunity to tell the story, but like I don't, Steve-O does a lot of incredible things. I think he's sober now, and I think he talks to a lot of like stars who have gone through that. And so at first I ignored it. Then I got an email a week later, like, hey, our dates are booking up, whatever. And I did it again. I looked up like the show name, and it's a real like podcast name. So I wrote back like, yeah, sure. Like, again, if I was getting scammed, essentially I was trying to do things like, what's the harm? So I was like, yes, I'll take like this date, like which time do you have? And he sent me back the time, like the 6 p.m. window, fine. And then that date like came and went, and there was like no link, no nothing, whatever. And like these producers, man, they'll be on your case if they really want. And so
you didn't ask for Amazon gift cards.
No, exactly. And so then a week later, I get a follow-up email like, hey, wondering if you want to reschedule. And I just, so finally I was just like, first of all, these emails are getting annoying. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, what are they trying to get out of me? And I guess it would have been if I really engaged in the conversation, because I was also being very flaky via email. I would respond like 5 or 6 days later. It would be like, send us your bank account information so we can send you this money, I guess. Like, I always want to know, what are they trying to get out of you? And so I ended up sending Steve-O a message on Instagram and was like, you don't know me, but I just want you to know. Also, to finish the story, the producer's name is somebody that if you looked him up, he like has, this person's name has worked on behalf of Steve-O before. Like, he was like his manager at some point or his lawyer. So like, again, it's, right, like the legitimacy, it's almost at like 90%, you know? And so you're kind of like, okay, like I think it's there. So
I think the other thing, just to circle back to me real quick, back to me.
Back to the orange, fucking orange.
Back to me. Other thing that tipped me off when we were having this conversation was when he said your professional license number, your practice license, which narcotic prescribing is your DEA number. It's like just your practice. Like you could be a practitioner and not have a DEA license. It has to do with controlled substances. So anyway, that was kind of like, so anyway, that's a
good little ping. But this is what I mean. It's like, look at these two circumstances. If someone, no offense, someone reached out to you and was like, come on the pod, you'd be like, you have the wrong person. If someone said to me, like, their name was at the border with some drugs, I'd be like, you got the wrong person. Like, I have no access to any of that stuff. So they just totally go, and then onto old people, essentially. They use like the people's voices of their loved ones, you know, to be like, I need help. And then
So, and the other funny thing about my father-in-law, he said he's like, well, I'm going to show off what a bad father I am, but are you sure Eric isn't using you? He's like implicating his own son and like using my prescribing information to like run
not
drugs.
Using his own
kid. His own. He's like, no, he's like, you know, because he's like, when a wife goes dead, who's the first suspect?
Yeah. No, so what your husband's father did was that he just showed his hand, and like if you both called at the same time, he would answer your call and you would say, I would represent Jaco before my own son.
He's like, now I'm not saying it could be true, but is there any chance? I was like, yes. Okay.
No. Although your husband could just like go to his mother or his sister to represent him. So I think he's got the Rolodex of people he could pick from.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Well.
Yeah. So good material.
Good job.
It's.
Yeah. Good lesson learning with like the take a breath. If anything makes you feel like that, take a breath and honestly like get off the phone.
Yes.
Good point. Get back on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. So how are you doing now?
So good. I mean, palms are sweating, but it's more just the, retelling, not the actual in the moment. Like,
you,
so anyway, that's the nurse practitioner lore of the day.
That's great lore. Well done. Way to bring the goods today. So again, in a normal TV show, they'd be like, time for us to go to break. We don't on here. No breaks with Jamie Erdahl. So chapter change. I was telling you before that when I go to create this show production, I like to, out of my own kind of like, make it look all pretty, pick the forewords of the day before the show starts. Then you come in with a story, and I was just like, well, should I change the forewords? And I'd be like, no, we'll be able to get to the agreed upon content. So here we are.
Yes, good.
So the 4 words today, those 4 words. Yes. Again, the origination of this is from our mom, who used to say, may I please have, and then you can do better. And yesterday with Giselle, it was, well, that was stupid. And it was in the capacity of, how did we go so long without being legitimate friends? And how silly it was that we kind of allowed people to pit us against each other. And we said it at the same time on the show. We stumbled upon the 4 words yesterday. We were like, well, that was stupid. So that's how we landed on the 4 words yesterday. So today's 4 words for everybody watching
Yes.
or listening: spouse swap, bad idea. Which everyone
Spouse swap, bad idea. Yes.
bad idea. So, there's shows that I think you watch, like, wasn't like Nanny Swap, or wasn't there a wife swap
Wife
show?
swap. Wife swap.
Wife swap, where like crazy type A wife goes to like hippie house, and then like vice versa, and people.
Yes.
You're supposed to come home and feel like appreciative of the person that you like lost in the swap.
Yes, you're supposed to. Right. The purpose is to feel appreciative of the person that you were taking for granted.
Real quick, somebody in the chat just called that last story Jamie Jaco and the Spider-Man Mysteries. It's a great comic book.
Yes.
Okay, so this spouse swap bad idea is born from a conversation that you and I had this summer with our husbands.
Yes.
We were visiting California, and we were sitting in our backyard, and I feel like your husband has made this joke before in passing about, especially when you and I are around each other, just like in how we travel or how we clean or how we whatever we do, it's not the same.
I'll also say that when he and I are having conflict, he'll say, if your sister were here, she would agree with me.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. And so that's when I say, I won't repeat it, but yes. So he'll bring you up, invoke, and say, because you two have more kind of similar thinking patterns.
Yes, we do. So that's something to be armed with.
Yes.
Well, when I'm like highly emotional and in my feels in my own relationship, Sam would be like, "You feeling? I'm having some Jaco feels right now."
No, he does not. Does he?
He has said that before. Yes.
Oh my.
Just like,
yes, I am.
I am. Okay, I'm feeling it all. So this summer we're sitting out back, and your husband brings up this concept where he goes, "I really think that if Jamie and I had to be married, and Jaco and Wilson, my husband, had to be married, that we would last longer as a marriage."
Yes. Jamie and I would last a lot longer
in the marriage.
Yeah.
And we all had a good knee slapping chuckle at that at first, what a ridiculous concept and conversation to have. Then we started to kind of pull at that thread a little bit, and we're bringing up all these reasons why Eric and I would be a more suitable match, and we're talking like, we would survive a week versus a day. I don't think we're saying like could be life partners, because that gets creepy. Yeah. So we start to pull at, really you and Wilson are, on all of the pillars, opposites.
Yes.
And, the funny ha-ha is that Eric and I are similar. And what we all thought was funny ha-ha was that you and Wilson are very, very dissimilar. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the conversation, after we were just going ham hog on you guys being so different, your husband goes, I think we should table this conversation, because I don't want Jaco to feel like we're, making fun of her, or, I just don't want, he was being so nice to you. He was like, sweetie, I don't want you to feel like, you okay? And you were like, yeah, I'm good. This is funny.
Wait, I remember this differently. I feel like something was said prior to Eric swinging in with this, trying to retrieve, trying to save the situation. I believe that you and Eric were talking about how you guys would always be at the airport on time, and the calendars would be color coded, and
our tech would be all in line.
No one ever be late, and all these things. And Wilson looks at me and says, I wouldn't last being married to you for a day. Deadpan. And I looked, and everyone was kind of then chuckling, and that's when Eric tried to swoop in with we should stop this train.
Your coach is 30. Let's turn it into a full timeout.
And that's where I was trying to come off as all I am so imperturbable in my security. Yeah, just let me hear it. I can take it. And Sam's
Wilson and I are let's go.
And Eric's I really think this is a bad idea. And I was like, no, let me have it.
So then we went on for about, I don't know, another 10 minutes, probably saying well, Jaco is not as organized.
Wilson then went on a litany of reasons why he could not. But clearly I remember this.
Yeah. Okay. So what were some of the reasons?
I leave the milk out
You do
on the
that.
counter.
Yeah, you do that.
The milk cannot touch the countertop in Wilson's house.
It just, yeah, you're right. Pour it and put it back in. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
No, the milk deserves time on the counter.
Yeah. It's just incredible. The milk is a great example. Again, he's at zero. He clocks 0 counter time with the milk. Yours is like many hours, and I do feel like just there is a happy medium.
Many hours is a gross exaggeration. It just is out while I'm sipping my coffee for like 3 hours.
That's many.
Many is like 8. Okay.
Guys. So
so the milk. He was just like, it was like he was just like shooting these off like they were right at the front of his face, like in his head. Like he's like, milk on the counter. And then I can't remember the rest. I think I blacked out a little bit because it was too traumatic that someone was like not liking me or didn't like, was mad at me.
So like you were hanging tough. You were hanging in there. And then we all disperse. Like the night ends, we go our separate ways. And was it like later that same evening or the next day you came to me and you were like, I very, very that this way. And when you come to me and say that stuff, like I have to downshift into like a listening, like body language that is foreign to me. And I have to be like, okay, like be still, check your face, and just be like, this is like a practice skill that you've like helped me develop. It's like, okay, go. Go. And then you shared. Why don't we review what you shared?
I can't even remember the rest of the things you said.
No, not what he said, but you were the point is,
okay,
we all are married to who we're supposed to be married to because your spouse, Eric, saw this coming like a semi that has harangued on the highway and is like in Final Destination coming down to clear all the cars as it comes down the road. And you were like, I'm just gonna like slide under this semi and like it's not gonna take me out emotionally. And then it did. And
of course.
And then you were like, I can't, it's, just your feelings were hurt. And like, my goodness, if it was like never a better idea than to just be like, okay, so we are married to who we're supposed to be married to. Swapping spouses is, go.
You probably then retreated to Wilson and you'd be like, you gotta like make some like, you gotta make some amends with Jaco because she's like licking her wounds over there,
The seeds of love.
Yeah.
The seeds of love.
Yeah, so then he sent a text message to our square text, and which are
the square,
and the square is the name of our text thread, and he said like, upon further reflection, I think Jaco and I would be excellent spouses. We would just bond over our love of goat cheese, and all would be well.
Oh, I forgot. I remember that line. Good memory.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yes, I think but you definitely like spurred on the like you gotta go like and then I was better.
water
and he was probably like, what?
Yeah. So I still think the initial observation is true that indeed if the spouse swap were to happen, most likely just because of efficiency similarities, efficiency similarities, that's probably how that would go down. But I would just caution anyone who is like, oh, this is such a cute, funny conversation.
Yeah. Or embrace like the sandwich approach. Start with a compliment, give some feedback that's less charming, finish with something loving. I remember too at the conversation too. I probably like later on when I was like trying to be, cute and secure, probably swung in with like some inappropriate like sexual comment about how like, yes. I was like, well, you couldn't, handle me. And then Jamie became very like real uncomfortable about any discussion about anything related to that. And like, look at you right now.
The shade of my sweatshirt.
I know. Yeah. So I think it was like a classic, like probably too late. It could have been earlier. It would have been better, but it was probably like, well, so I think, tread with caution if you're going to play this game.
Yes. I think we always learn several things when the four of us hang out, which is, I think you get so phenomenally invested in kind of like the conversation, like the fondue pot of the conversation. You are just so somebody who is like, when you have committed to being present, quite good at, just like, especially amongst family, and you cherish the square so much that you're like, oh, I'm gonna like sit here and we're in this and this is so great and this is like, this is like new fun conversation.
I think too, like, I want to feel like I've reached this person and I have a connection point. We have like
Wilson.
whoever I'm talking to, like whoever I'm with. It's like probably like it's probably like a tool, frankly, for connecting with patients. Like, where can I reach this person so they feel like, we have like commonality and therefore like we can, our connection then enhances our communication and like what I need to teach them or tell them about cancer or chemo or whatever. But it's like, I always want to feel like, okay, like I reached this person, we have this like connecting point, and like Wilson and I just like whiff, like we love each other, but it's just like just whiffs.
I mean,
just whiffs.
That is probably the most efficient way to describe it, not to like there are many. You guys are just very different people, and that's what makes me laugh when it's not funny, haha, like when it's happening, because you're like, oh, this is awkward and uncomfortable. Yeah. But it is funny in the aftermath because you were really in your true, authentic self. We're not feeling great about, like, essentially you were insulted. I think that so matter-of-factly this person was like, not us.
Yeah, right. Or basically, no, and I think too the reason was the reason why our marriage wouldn't work were like all issues with like my character and like what I bring to the table. Not the fact that like I don't
think you leaving milk out on the counter has anything to do with your character, but yes, your habits.
But it was just like Jaco's kind of like, type B, lowercase b is just like really offensive to me.
I know. And like this coming from the man who, when he just left for a work trip, like when he comes home, like if you don't think that everything in the fridge is going to be turned to a right angle upon return, then like you've lost your mind, because that's absolutely happening.
Yeah.
So that's where we land between 3 hours of a milk carton on the counter and all the things in the fridge have to be made to a right angle at the end of the work trip.
Right. The counter shouldn't hold anything except for nothing. No, not even a crumb.
Yeah. It's funny. Yeah, I can tell when he reaches his threshold of like stress. He manifests his stress, puts it into like cleanliness or order, and we'll come down, and I can always tell if something's like stressful for him because like he'll be eating like off. It's just like more efficient, like, and it's all like cleaner. Like it does it. Then there's nothing in the sink and there's nothing in the dishwasher. It's like, you okay?
Yeah. Yeesh. Emotional temperature reading. Where's my thermometer?
Like the meat thing that goes into the chicken. Yes. Like, wow, you are overdone. Woo.
Yeah. Woo.
Oh man, yeah. So just tread lightly, but it is kind of a fun exercise, honestly. If you were with like another like couple or sets of couples, I think that'd be really fun too. If you had like a bigger group hang and everybody was married. Yes. Try to find like which spouse pairing. It'd be really fun in the swap that you'd be like, those people would beat us all. It can get a little dicey, like don't let it be like a flirtatious thing, but like I do think it'd be kind of like an entertaining exercise.
Right. Should not turn into a swingers event.
No, it should not. No upside down pineapple. Did you know that that's like the sign, the universal sign?
I did. I did
found that out on live television a couple years ago.
You're so naive and sheltered.
I know. Kyle brought it up that like in his Kyle Brandt in whatever town he lives in like suburban New York, he was just like the pineapple, but like look out if it goes upside down, and I was just like, what?
Was everyone like, ha? And you're like, ha?
Luckily, I think Jason also, McCarty also didn't know what it was. So like, look at us and like.
Actually, there's a little community too far from my neighborhood that has that reputation.
You tell.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anyone who actively participates in
advertises that they're like,
or have, I mean, I think the way you advertise it is you have the upside down pineapple like on your house. Like, yes. But supposedly it's like a well-known kind of hush hush, not really hush hush, like of this little, like, it's like 20 minutes away from here.
I should, I mean, we barely get you on with your mic and your camera, but I wish I could like find a way to do the like anonymous guest. And I would love to have somebody on No Breaks and sit here and grill them about how they like go about accomplishing that. Because there's so many layers to it, right? There's like how does this work in your relationship?
Oh, I find this topic fascinating.
Well, yeah, she who's going to go back to school for freaking marriage counseling.
It's fascinating. This is very much in Dr. Orna territory.
Okay, great. Well, let's just parallel park right into that because it's like the relationship.
I'm not even sure people in that space need anonymity. I feel like it's kind of like, this is like, like I feel comfortable with it. I'm not embarrassed about it. I'm in a relationship that's secure. We have boundaries, rules. Like, I don't need to feel ashamed. Like, we've agreed
maybe
upon
I'll clip this off and say, calling all swingers, if that is indeed what you call yourselves. We would like to have you on No Breaks. I'll even design the third box to put you in between our own Dr. Orna here, Dr. Jaco. And we would like to ask you questions about this lifestyle. Does that sound good? Because it's like, it's the relationship. It's honestly a little bit circling back to what we were just discussing with our spouse swap mishap conversationally, which is like, how do you feel about it? Like during experience after experiences, and then also just like navigating that socially would be wild times. It's a lot of good stuff. If you were intimate with somebody and then you just like see them at the grocery store the next day and you're like, what's up? I mean, I'm awkward in and of itself.
There's a hard for you to say
like awkward stuff in my own kitchen
right now. You're awkward, Sammy. I mean, when Sam makes innuendos that are like not even passable innuendos, it still makes you have sweaty palms, like the scam incident. Remember, he would say to you, "Look at how you're tossing that salad," and then you just like start squirming. That is one way we do both like to make you squirm in an uncomfortable way. That's how we will bond.
Great. That's your commonality. Oh man. Yeah. It just is so like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, I'm all about the verbal tennis, but when it comes to like sexual innuendos, I'm just like,
Would love to dig into that more.
You're right. Okay. Well, I think we've accomplished a lot today. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're not going to get like taken in somewhere and you still have your you're not practicing license.
You're having to take a break from your life to visit me in jail.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to. No breaks. I can't add you to the list.
Yes.
Well done navigating that. I think it was a really good lesson in scammers, which, unfortunately.
Very sophisticated scamming.
Yeah.
Could have been.
Totally. Yep. And then also tread lightly in the spouse swap could be a bad idea conversation. And I think we found our first goal on No Breaks on Wednesdays is to find somebody of the swinger community. And mostly... I think you're just going to have to ask questions and I'll just sit here and navigate the tech because... No, I can inquire about it because I'm fascinated by it, but don't ever don't ask me anything. Like, take offense.
Don't ask you anything like, do you hold hands?
Oh, man. That was a good time. Okay, well, have a great Wednesday. I guess I'll call you after this. You know what I mean?
All right.
Love you, Jaco.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.